What's good, everybody? Jay Coffee Talk here. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. But check it out. You see, I'm on Twitter and recently reinstated NFL player Myles Garrett. If we all, I'm sure, remember the helmet incident with Mason Rudolph. It was crazy. Things got wild. Clay Travis here, which is a sports journalist sports journalist. I don't know if he strictly does. No, he does not strictly do sports. I'm sorry. He's a journalist here. He says he's comparing Myles Garrett to Jussie Smollett. So let's check these tweets out. This thread here. It says Myles Garrett, aka the NFL's Jussie Smollett. I've heard his name said so many different ways. Needs to stop talking. There is zero corroborating evidence of his allegation. Further, even if it happened, it still shouldn't lessen his punishment. He could have killed a man over an insult. We have to stop equating words and actions. He also went on to say, if I were Mason Rudolph, I'd ask the Cleveland police to reopen a criminal investigation into Garrett and seek charges for assault and battery. I'd also explore filing a civil defamation claim, even though that's an incredibly high standard to meet to receive damages. So what do you guys think about what he's saying here? If you recall, after the incident happened, Garrett came out and said that Mason called him the N-word. People are divided on this, I guess. I don't know. It's a tough situation because it's like, did he say it? You don't want to call him a liar. It's just a wild situation. But a lot of people believe Myles Garrett is not telling the truth. But if you recall, he was, as I said, he's now reinstated, but he was suspended indefinitely and hit with some fines. Now, let's check out what some people are saying in the threads here. You see this person saying, sticks and stones may break my bones. This guy says, I actually think his false allegations should carry additional suspension. Need to ensure this type of excuse making doesn't continue. Someone says, Juicy fakes, hate crime that fell apart because of a security camera. The most mic'd up event in the country. Can't find any audio of an event that saw a guy who a week earlier got punched in the face, sitting in his car and did nothing. Lose his mind. So I don't know if you guys remember that. Myles Garrett, just before this, I actually covered it on my channel, got punched by someone in Cleveland. The Browns, in his hometown as far as his sports team. Some fan was, they were arguing. I guess Garrett said something to him. The fan came up and snuffed him. Like, I don't know what's going on with Myles Garrett, getting into a lot of different altercations, I guess. But he brings up an interesting point, though. Mic'd up. We hear all the time in these NFL games, these mic'd up segments, after the game and stuff. It's interesting normally, you know what I mean? I'm not talking about what's going on here at all. It's just normally interesting. You hear the players out there, you hear what they're talking about, you hear what they were saying during big moments and stuff. It's cool, you know what I mean? You do hear a lot of ish talking out there, but it's interesting. I believe it was a Thursday night game. I don't know. It was a primetime game. It was a night game, and it's wild that no one was mic'd up. Like, what's the deal with that, because that's what the NFL is claiming. You'll see in a minute. I'll read some more tweets. What this guy say? He said, maybe because I don't know, they didn't have audio of him saying it. Smart guy. Even if he did, it doesn't justify taking a helmet and trying to cause blunt force trauma to someone's head. Now, listen, I just want to say something. This whole situation was wild. It was like the last play of the game. The game was over. Regardless, I don't know. I'm not saying regardless, like it doesn't matter if Mason said this. If he did say it, it is a big deal. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about Garrett. I don't understand why Garrett was like trying to, go so hard on him. I don't know why the Steelers even passed there. They should have just handed the ball off to run off the clock, but they threw like, I believe it was like a swing pass. Garrett comes in and lays Mason Rudolph out, like drives him into the ground. Mason just, had that concussion, got knocked out a few weeks earlier. But, then they start grabbing at each other's helmet, because Mason was not innocent in that at all. He definitely, had his hands all up in dude's helmet. It got, things got a little scrappy out there or whatever. I don't think he needed to pull off the helmet and swing it at him. But, then later he claims the racial slurs. I don't know. Mason Rudolph denies it. No one who is out there else has said that they heard it also. But I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like you don't want to just come out and call the guy a liar. This guy right here says, I think Garrett is telling the truth. And then this dude says, I'll paraphrase the great George Strait. If you believe that, I got some oceanfront property in Arizona. I'll sell you. Oh, he's trying to play him. But he says the NFL should release all tapes it has during the skirmish to put to bed any rumors. To bed then. Remember, it was leaked during Garrett's hearing. I don't think he intended for this to go public. I believe him for now. So really good point there. It was leaked, which, them hearings are supposed to be high security, major lockdown. But like the minutes got leaked from it. And, that's what he said happened. And once again, like he's pointing, release all the audio out there. They're saying there's no audio. Like, I just don't buy it. You know what I mean? So that's something that goes in Garrett's favor. Like, why isn't the audio released? And I don't know. You know what I mean? This guy says Myles Garrett is a pacifist who was documented to have been slugged in the face by a motorist a week earlier in Cleveland and did nothing in retaliation. The NFL claims no players had mics on during that Thursday night football. Garrett disputes this, but if true, there would be no evidence. This guy says, I do find it odd that the NFL suddenly lost all audio of the incident, don't you? They have sound guys all over the field. Once again, like, you know what I mean? It really raises some doubt to, Rudolph denying that he said this, This guy says, no, they didn't. Laugh my ass off. He's saying that's not true. I've heard that they said they don't have audio either. But I don't know, man. What do you guys think about this, man? Now, why this was brought back up, I'm gonna show you real quick. All right, so this is why it was brought back up. You see here, Myles Garrett again alleges Mason Rudolph called him a racial slur, sparking brawl. So, this is, talking about right here, you'll see Cleveland Browns defensive end Myles Garrett again alleged that Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph used a racial slur just prior to the brawl of the November game. He says he called me the N-word. He called me a stupid N-word. And it says the NFL suspended Garrett indefinitely for ripping Rudolph's helmet off and hitting him in the head with it during the Browns' 21-7 win. The incident ended up costing Garrett the final 6 games of the regular season and roughly $1.2 million in pay, plus a fine of $45,623. So add that up, it's almost like what, 1.3? I don't know. Anyways, it cost him a lot of money. It cost him over $1 million, almost $1.5 million. You know what I mean? And it says the star defensive player first asserted during his appeals hearing for the suspension that Rudolph incited him with a racial slur. Garrett later said he never intended for the accusation to become public. I know what I heard is what Garrett said. Now, once again, Garrett did not come out on social media. He didn't come out anywhere saying it was public. It was leaked. That is true. And it is funny that there's no audio. You know what I mean? But why this is brought back up, what I'm saying here, they're getting at in this article, is that when he was just reinstated, he brought it up again. And that's what this is saying here. On Thursday, Garrett told Kimes that he didn't want the allegation to become public because I didn't want to try to use it as justification for my actions because there's nothing to justify. Like, there's nothing that I can say or do to justify what I did on that day, but I know what I heard. So, I mean, it sounds like he's taking accountability. He didn't, want that to try to be justification. I don't know. What does everyone think about this? Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, everyone. For everyone new to the channel, big part of this channel is talking with the people. So get up in the comments. He also said, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he would go that route after the fact. This is Mason Rudolph saying it's totally untrue, saying he couldn't believe that he said that. And Mason Rudolph said, I don't say the N word, whether it's with a or a ER. To me personally, it just shouldn't be said, whether it's by family, friends, anyone. I don't want, I'm sorry, this is actually Garrett saying that. He was saying he doesn't say it and he doesn't like for it to be said. I don't want people to find that appropriate around me or anyone else. And he said here, when he said it, it kind of sparked something, but I still tried to let it go and walk away. But once he came back, it kind of reignited the situation. And not only have you escalated things past what they needed to be with such little time in the game left, now you're trying to re-engage and start a fight. And then they go on here to talk about, like I said, they had to run a final play. They ran that swing pass. Rudolph did come in hard body. It says the league fined Browns and Steelers $200,000 each, aside from Garrett. But I don't know, man. What does everyone think? Garrett's claiming this is what was said. He's saying, like I pointed out, it is true that it was leaked. Garrett didn't put the information out. So, he says he didn't want it to be public. I don't know. And then you got this journalist, as I just showed in them tweets, saying that, he's comparing Garrett to Jussie Smollett. What do you guys think about that? Let's talk about this. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell. Thanks for watching. J Coffee Talk, blogging, sports, music, news, life, current events, and much more. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching. Peace.